Howdy, hey, howdy, Legionarios. It's been a little while. How you doing? How's the family? The kids? If they're anything like my life, they're non-existent. But speaking of my life, that is where I have been for the past few months. I've been dealing with real-life stuff going on, work, a little bit of vacation time, getting sick, getting better, then getting sick again. You know, the standard kind of stuff that happens nowadays in 2025. But speaking of things that happen in 2025, in case you didn't know, a few weeks ago, Games Workshop held their Warhammer Skulls video game showcase. So we're going to go over a few of the top takeaways from that event. And if you did know about it, well, then do me a favor and just let this video play in the background while you do something else. Now, there was a lot of stuff revealed as far as planned and upcoming releases, as well as continued support for some previous releases, so we're not going to talk about everything. But we will have IGN's coverage article listed in the description below for anyone interested in checking out all the details from the event. With all that out of the way, let's jump into the video. So probably the biggest surprise / about damn time announcement at the event was the unveiling of the upcoming Master Crafted edition of the original Space Marine title from 2011 coming to PC and Xbox on June 10th. The reason this is so surprising is that despite being a cross-platform release that shipped more than 1.2 million units in its first 3 weeks of release, Space Marine 1 has never been available on console digital markets, and the only re-release the game has seen thus far was the PC-only 10th Anniversary Edition, which essentially was just the original game and all its DLC with a few extra goodies. This remastered edition, however, is set to feature, as quoted from the IGN article, 4K resolution, modernized controls, an interface overhaul, improved character models, and remastered audio, which includes over 100 new voice lines for the orcs. It was also described as the definitive edition of the first game in the series. Unfortunately, there is no word if there will be a future release for PlayStation users to join in the action, and from personal experience, not every Games Workshop related IP gets the cross-platform treatment. That doesn't mean all hope is lost though. I mean, after all, Darktide was initially released for PC in 2022, saw an Xbox release in 2023, and finally a PlayStation release in 2024. So it is possible that eventually a port to PS5 makes its way to market. Speaking of Darktide, it was announced that a new Arbites class paid DLC will be available June 23rd, and in case you're wondering, yes, I had to look up how to properly pronounce Arbites. I was saying Arbites, I knew it wasn't Arbites, it's Arbites, it sounds kind of like diabetes, and it gives me a heart attack every time I say it. But that DLC is going to be out on June 23rd. And not only that, but there's been a free update to its spiritual predecessor, Vermintide 2, that saw the release of the third level of the Verminous Dreams campaign, along with the announcement that the game is now available on the Xbox Game Pass. And this is significant considering that support for Vermintide 2, which is the sequel to a game meant to usher in the end times and the death of the Warhammer Fantasy Universe, has been ongoing for 7 years post-release, and it looks to be set for continued support as well, so there's that to think about. Back on the topic of remasters and re-releases though, another massive announcement at Skulls was the upcoming definitive edition of the classic and beloved RTS Dawn of War, a game constantly stated by many 40k lovers to be the greatest adaptation of the setting of all time. And I mean, let's just be honest, we know it's just Warhammer flavored StarCraft, but that is precisely what makes it so good, and it has been 8 years since any Dawn of War releases, and we're long overdue for some 40k RTS action. Unfortunately, and let's just be realistic here, this is going to be a PC-only release, as the series itself has never made its way to consoles, and for all intents and purposes, we should not expect it to start doing so now. Still, this is massive news that will surely excite any fan of the series, and also, if you've never played the original game, then this release is your chance to finally do so, so I highly encourage you to take advantage of this. Now, over on the fantasy side of the full-scale army warfare genres, it was also announced that Total War Warhammer 3, which should just be called Total Warhammer in my opinion, and it irks me that it is not, but I digress. It's going to be getting its next DLC, which is titled The Tides of Torment, and also the game's next legendary lord was revealed, and both are expected out later this summer. There were also several announcements regarding the more indie-level IPs, such as the new DLC and Season Pass for the CRPG Rogue Trader, as well as its upcoming sequel, Dark Heresy, and also a new look at the upcoming Mechanicus 2, which was announced last year. They gave a new trailer this year, and it features the Leagues of Votann, which, for those who do not know, those are space dwarfs, and that is awesome. But perhaps what excited me the most as a PlayStation player was the announcement of an official sequel to the 2023 boomer shooter that is Boltgun, appropriately titled Boltgun 2. And it is expected out sometime next year in 2026. And you can bet your grandma's best rolling pin I'll be throwing that one on my wish list. Anyway, there's also, for any PC players out there, there's a free-to-play typing game version of Boltgun titled Words of Vengeance. It is out now on Steam. It's free, so feel free to go and check that one out and then let me know how it is in the comments. Now, there were a few more reveals and updates at this year's Skulls event that I'm not going to touch on here, but like I said, IGN did an excellent job of covering it, so be sure to check out their article. And that's going to do it for this video. Nothing too breaking, but I figured if you're new to 40k or Warhammer in general, then you might not have even known about the Skulls event. So I just wanted to kind of get something out there to cover some of it for you guys. And I really wanted to make this video a couple of weeks ago, but hey, being sick sucks, so better late than never, I suppose. Anyway, hopefully it won't be as long before the next video drops, so don't forget to give this video a like, and please consider subscribing and joining our legion so you can be the first to know when a new video drops. And come on, we are so close to our first complete company of 100, so just, yeah, hit the subscribe button. Do it. Do it. Do it! Please? With all that said, as always, thank you for watching, and may the Emperor guide your hand.